Tony Khan having a meltdown on Twitter. I mean, from dissing John Cena and Undertaker to calling HBK and Triple H the bald asshole, Curb Your Enthusiasm reference of some sort. I don't watch that show. That's what I was told. You know, Tony Khan, AEW, Dynamite did lose in the ratings to NXT. And I've been defending that L. I've actually been turning it around and saying, in my opinion, and I still stand by this. In my opinion, WWE NXT took the L because of the fact that they had Taker, John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley, and they still couldn't pop a million. They still couldn't pop a million. They barely got up to 921K to be exact, I believe. And to me, that's an L. That's embarrassing. But what's even more embarrassing is the way Tony Khan has responded to this L. The biggest one really being the tweet that I had already alluded to. Tony Khan said something along the lines of, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in history, with all due respect, Undertaker and John Cena were a part of a show that was under 1 million views in the ratings. Something along those lines. And dude, you couldn't be any more sorry, dog. Like, just take the L, bro. And you have people like me that are still defending your show. But, like, when you tweet stuff like this, it makes me feel like a fucking jackass when you tweet stuff like that, dude. You know what I mean? Like, when I say I was defending AEW, I'm not defending AEW because I'm a fan of AEW. It has nothing to do with that. I genuinely, legitimately feel like NXT took an L because they loaded that show up with fucking Taker, for God's sakes, and John Cena, Cody Rhodes, Rhea Ripley. And they couldn't pop a million. They had Paul Heyman, they had Dominic Mysterio. He's the champ there though. But yeah, they couldn't pop a million. But when Tony Khan tweets that John Cena and Undertaker for the first time in history were a part of a show that didn't draw a million, what's even more stupid about that is, bro, they could say the same thing about Edge. Edge was a part of a show that didn't draw a million either. And that's probably the first time in his history as well. Come on, man. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure I'd be willing to bet that Edge main eventing Dynamite Tuesday night, whatever it was called, Title Tuesday, that's probably the lowest rated show he's ever been a part of, ever, in his entire career. And I'm pretty sure Edge has, like, been on Sunday Night Heat and maybe even Velocity back when those shows were a thing. And I would still be willing to bet that 600K on Title Tuesday is the lowest rated program that Edge has ever performed on. And I don't know the specific ratings breakdowns, the quarter hours or whatever. I don't know. You would have to go visit Brandon Thurston, WrestleNomics, for that. That dude is he's a genius, man. He does a tremendous job keeping up with all the ratings and stuff. I mean, I don't really follow that stuff. I really don't. But I do know of his work because I hear his work plugged on other podcasts that do follow closely on the ratings and stuff. So I don't know the specific breakdown. So I don't know. Maybe Edge's match in particular did a higher number. I doubt it. Because yeah, I mean the average was 600 and something thousand for Title Tuesday, and in either way, I would be willing to bet whatever the number did. Edge has never been on a program with that low of a rating in his entire career. So when Tony Khan, his stupid ass, tweets out, "Oh, ladies and gentlemen, for the first time in history, all due respect, Undertaker and John Cena were a part of the they were part of a show that couldn't crack 1 million against a company that's been around for 4 years, or about whatever his exact tweet was. Bro, I'm I actually tweeted Tony Khan last night, because he was talking about uh people like WWE. He assumes, and maybe he's correct on some of them, but he assumes that all of the WWE like troll accounts that at him and stuff, he assumes that they're all just bots. Like it's some kind of conspiracy against him. Like WWE is unleashing like some fucking bot accounts ran by them, or I don't know what's on his mind. You know, but he he tweeted something like, he retweeted, somebody was talking. See, Tony Khan, I'm rambling like hell, man, because this is too much. This is really cringe. Tony Khan tweeted something about his mom, that she had a near death experience and she survived, and he posted that. And then of course a bunch of troll accounts were trolling him, because that's what trolls do. That's what people have done on the internet since the dawning of the internet. People just troll, bro. You know what I mean? That's what they do. And especially if you put your business out there on the internet, on social media, people are gonna troll you. And so they trolled him, and he quote tweeted one of them and said, "It is these WWE droid accounts that I hate with all of my soul, and that's why I'm doing this, and that's why it's personal now between us and WWE," something along those lines. And when I read that, I'm like, okay, I gotta tweet at this guy. Because I mean, he be tweeting, he be replying to people with like 20 followers. So I'm like, man, I know he's gonna read my tweet then. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't have hardly any followers either, so maybe he'll see my tweet too. So I tweeted him and I said, Tony, something along the lines of, Tony, I love AEW, and I'm forever thankful for you for creating an alternative in professional wrestling. But for the love of God, get off of Twitter. This guy, and I've been saying this for 2 years now, and I get downvoted on Reddit. But I've been saying this for 2 years. Tony Khan is not cut out to be a leader. He should not be a public figure for AEW. He should be in the shadows. He should have been like this beneficiary, mystery guy that you rarely see. Kind of like Jack Tunney for WWF way back in the day when Vince McMahon was assumed to be just a commentator, and you had President Jack Tunney for WWF. He would make rare special appearances when the time called for it. That's the kind of figure Tony Khan should have been, but except never making any appearances, and just have a kayfabe general manager or something, a public figure who could actually represent the company with respect and command respect. Because Tony Khan ain't it. And I've been saying this for 2 years, man. I've been saying this for 2 years. This is nothing brand new. And all this shit on Twitter that he's doing, his little meltdown, quote unquote, it's not surprising to me at all. What really did it for me, like what really made me realize, I mean, I already had a hunch before, but what really made me realize, like, okay, yeah, this dude is just, he's not a leader, man. He's not a professional boss type of person, was when, I don't know if it was last year or if it was the year before. I'm pretty sure it was 2 years ago now. Probably 2021. I'm pretty sure. This was like 2 years ago now. Do y'all remember when Big Swole departed AEW? She was even she was in the women's division. She had a feud with Britt Baker, and during the pandemic era, she was getting a little push. But nonetheless, Big Swole departed AEW. And then it came out, at first it came out that they left on a mutual agreement. And now we know this is what Tony Khan does. He lets contracts expire. You know, he doesn't ever release anybody unless you're CM Punk, and he's fearing for his life, quote unquote. But besides that, he doesn't release nobody. He doesn't fire nobody. He lets their contracts expire. So that's what she meant by they departed mutually. But then Big Swole on her very own podcast, she talked about how AEW had no structure, how there was no structure in AEW, and something along those lines. And then fucking Tony Khan actually tweeted at her saying, "Oh, I let Big Swole's contract expire because I didn't think her wrestling was good enough." Something along those lines, like she's just not good enough to work here, type of deal. And that's when I, and again, I defended him on the I have an episode about Big Swole departing AEW as well, and I defended the company because she had also made allegations that AEW has no diversity and this and that, and that's subjectively wrong. It was wrong then, and it's still wrong now. That's AEW is one of the most diverse companies there is. There's Japanese, we got a transgender, Native American, African American women's wrestler, we got Mexican wrestlers, etc., etc. You get the point. But I defended him on that. But in that same episode, I did mention how, the lack of structure could be problematic, and that Tony Khan was petty with that tweet. And again, that's when I kind of realized, like, yeah, man, this dude is he's not it. He's got them Twitter fingers, and he's gonna get himself in hot water. And here we are, 2 years later, and he loses in the ratings. Dynamite loses in the ratings to NXT, and now he's got them Twitter fingers again, and he's acting like a little kid, man. I said it on Reddit, and I got downvoted. I'm not even joking this time. I'm like, hey, there's a difference between a promoter and someone who's acting like a pubescent child on social media, trying to get attention. Those are two completely different things. Because AEW fans on the AEW subreddit, man, they are insufferable, man. They defend AEW and they act like they don't see anything wrong with Tony Khan's behavior. They're just like, oh, it's funny, it's hilarious. Like, yeah, dude, it's hilarious. Yeah, I'll give you that. But too much of it is off-putting. Really, really off-putting and cringe as fuck. You don't want to see this in a leader. Especially a leader to a company that's only 4 years old. And you have high hopes that this company is going to go to infinity and beyond. No Buzz Lightyear. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, it's hard to imagine AEW getting very far with someone like this behind the wheel. You know what I'm saying? And Eric Bischoff recently said on his Strictly Business podcast, his quote is perfect. He said something along the lines of, it would be extremely beneficial if Tony Khan could learn to just be happy with being the person who put it together, but not the person who's actively running the fucking show, And I agree with that 100%. I've been saying this for 2 years. Now, people in the IWC, they're barely coming around and like, damn, Tony Khan is like that. Like, yeah, bro, I've been saying this for 2 years now. That this guy, he's not cut out to be a leader. He's not. And I figured that out the moment I seen his meltdown with Big Swole. Come on, man. How are you going to say something like that about your former employee? Oh, I let her contract expire because I didn't think her wrestling was good enough. Like how can you be petty like that, bro? And I'm not even a fan of Big Swole. I could probably actually agree with him. I don't think she's that very good of a wrestler either. But that's not something you say in public when you're a fucking boss, when you're a figurehead. When you're a CEO, you don't say stuff like that in public. You just don't do that. You know what I mean? That's when I realized, like, this guy don't know what the hell he's doing. Very unprofessional, very unsavory. So, Yeah, man, that's pretty much all I gotta say. It's, this is nothing surprising to me. This is this so-called meltdown by Tony Khan. I mean, it's cringy, but it's not like this is breaking news. You know what I mean? People out there in the IWC are acting like this is breaking news. Oh, somebody go check on Tony Khan. Like, come on, bro. That's how he's been. That's how he's been. That's just his character. And I'm a fan of AEW. I'm not a big fan of Tony Khan. I mean, the guy seems like a good guy. That's one thing that everybody says too. Everybody that criticizes his behavior, they all say the same thing, and I agree. He seems like a genuinely good human being. He really does. And also he seems like he does have legit good intentions with AEW and with what he wants to do. Like, he has good intentions, but the guy, he's not it though. He don't know what he's doing, man. The shit that he says, the shit that he tweets, it should be very clear to the viewer, to anybody that's a fan of AEW. No matter how diehard of a fan you are, you gotta admit that Tony Khan ain't it, man. This guy is he's like a little kid trapped in a grown man's body. You know what this is? This is just another case of this guy being a spoiled brat, because he grew up, come on, man, he grew up with unimaginable wealth, billionaires. You know what I'm saying? And he grew up like that. He doesn't know what it's like really to fight to get what you want in life, to struggle, to fucking go, life or death for a dream, for a goal, for an aspiration. You know what I mean? He doesn't know what that's like. And it shows, because the moment AEW loses in the ratings to NXT, you have him having this quote unquote meltdown. That's a spoiled brat behavior. That's exactly what that is.